What's up, Notre Dame fans? It's Mike Singer. It's Tim Hyde. And we are live on a Wednesday night talking Notre Dame football and recruiting. Appreciate everyone joining us live, watching back, listening via podcast. Love you all so much. Lots to talk about today. Um, Tim and I were arguing about some stuff on the message board, and it's like, Tim, just save it for the live show. Save it for the live show. I called Tim an idiot a couple times, I think. I'm sorry, Tim. You're not an idiot. You're a very smart guy. How are you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. Out here in New England, we're getting our first nor'easter coming in about 24 hours. We're supposed to get a foot of snow hitting tomorrow night. So getting ready. Getting ready. Got the supplies ready. And let's rock and roll. One day closer to a big bowl game, Mike.
My wife is in New York right now. So she's
Nice.
she's in the Northeast and went to Fallon today and is seeing all sorts of cool stuff while I'm ate Walmart General Tso's chicken for lunch. Like I'm kind of living the bachelor life right now. I used to work at Walmart before I got into recruiting.
Love
I
it.
was paying for college, and that was my favorite meal on my break was Walmart General Tso's chicken from the deli. So that's kind of where I'm at.
There's
Kind of living my bachelor life.
My
During my
wife
week.
does some work for a small software company, and before COVID hit, she used to travel. And man, yeah, during football season, it's the best. So I'd get those 2 days of splurging, go get whatever I want, coming home from practice, yeah. And then when she comes home, you throw it out. So oh yeah, I ate healthy, I ate all the salad.
I had Taco Bell yesterday, of course.
Love
Um,
it.
I am making some chili, so yeah. Well, I could eat a lot worse, but just
Good
I mean,
stuff.
I'm for the All American Bowl in San Antonio, first week of January. I'm there for 6 nights,
Yeah.
so that is all eating out and continental breakfasts, and so yeah, with no exercise. Anyways,
That's a great location, by the way. I've been down there for the couple national coaches conventions. That San Antonio, the board, the what is it, the River Walk? Yeah,
Riverwalk.
it's awesome. Great location, San Antonio.
Yeah, Jay Carr's ready to chit chat as
Nice.
always. Brent says, greeting Mikes and Tim. Jay Prue says, zero chance Singer is pants on. I do. I have sweatpants.
I love it.
Um, yeah, sweatpants only. Yeah, shirt. But anyways, best thing you saw, Tim.
Well, and it came out today. It's like, it's been somewhat of a quiet week since we last met. I thought we'd be celebrating a Mackey Award for Notre Dame, but no, I guess, the voters forgot to watch a couple games this year. But today, just on the All America, I thought it was awesome to see Tyler Horka posted this on the front page of blueandgold.com is Milk, the first long snapping All-American in the history of the American Football Coaches Association, the AFCA, the last All-American team that comes out, and they're honoring a long snapper starting this year. And there it is, Mr. Michael Vincent, who's going to be coming back for a 6th year. He's already announced coming back for a 6th year. I don't know. I just thought that was awesome. I thought that was awesome that, he's a heck of a long snapper. I know he's by the way, there's a long snapping award. So he was a semifinalist for that. I saw in the article. So for him to be first team All-American, I just thought that was awesome to get recognized and for the Coaches Association to start doing this because there's dudes all over the country on full ride scholarships, as you know, and it's a huge clinic thing in the off season. I've been on a team one year. We had a guy get a full ride to UCLA, just long snapping only. It's all he did. He was the worst offensive lineman on the team. Dude, get a long snap, got a full ride for 4 years. So nothing beats that.
Awesome. Yeah, my best of the week is I can't really share it. How about that? How about that for a
There
little
we go.
tidbit? Did you watch the Goolsby show from Monday?
Yes. I got
Yeah,
I got through it all and whatnot. So, oh yes, okay. I think I know what you're talking about. A little hint. So very excited.
talking about a
Very
surprise of who we might get on our signing day show. So we do the show every Wednesday,
love it.
and of course, National Signing Day is on a Wednesday. So Tim and I will have our live show
Next week.
next week on signing day.
Yes.
Not 100% sure what time yet.
Okay.
It'll be 7 or 8 or in between Eastern time. And yeah, we'll have a guest. We will
That is
have
next
a
week. Yeah,
what's that?
signing days next Wednesday, right?
Signing day's next Wednesday.
All right, good to go. All right, cool.
So we will have that's my best week is the text I got confirming our special guest. That's all.
Really nice. Does Goolsby know? Did you let him know?
Goolsby knows.
All right, good to go. Good to go. Because I haven't said anything to him, so I was watching the show. I was like, oh, I don't want to say nothing.
I didn't even know I told you.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you did a week ago as you were prepping. You've been prepping.
I've been working on it.
Yeah, doing your, as I call you, the executive producer. So back there working on it. So that's really exciting. I can't wait for next Wednesday.
Brian Kelly's coming on, folks.
Oh, can you
Brian
imagine?
Kelly. I'm kidding.
Can you imagine that?
That's my best of the week, though. But
I love that.
You know, yeah, it's not Tommy Reese, Jay Prue. I promise it's not. It's not Mr. Reese. But folks, if you're joining us live or watching back, please do hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel, of course, for more content. Really post a ton of stuff. Post a couple of recruiting videos today. So our live shows are a little bit more of a, analysis and debate, and Singer goes on tangents and everyone gets mad at him and that kind of thing. But we'll post like our Notre Dame football updates with Horka, and this week was Burlage, and again post a couple of recruiting updates today. So kind of get all the latest news and notes there, and then these shows where Tim and I will yell at each other, but also we'll try to inform you on some things as well. So Tim, let's just kind of open up about a discussion about Notre Dame's 2023 recruiting class. Just kind of your overall feel about it right now. A week ahead of signing day, as you know the class very well, and you're kind of aware of who Notre Dame could get, who they could lose.
Well, number one, they just dropped from 3 to 4. They were 3. Who passed them?
They did.
Oh, is that the latest? I saw it.
Ohio State passed
4-7 or so. And there's, obviously in the consensus, everyone comes out with latest rankings and whatnot. So what is it? 93. Oh yeah, I got close to that. It's like flip a coin, huh? But hey, if they finish in the top 5, if they keep these guys together, it's hell of a football class. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, seriously, it's a top 5 football class, with, the blue chips as you see. They're going to be, if all these guys stay, no craziness, which, a lot of Notre Dame fans have been a part of over the decades of people flipping last second and whatnot. I mean, you're looking at a class in the 80s, the standard bearer, the teams that have been battling for Final Fours and whatnot the last 5-6 years since this has become kind of the phrase out there. It's been 7. If you're 70 and above, you have elite football talent. So this is going to be 2 years in a row over 70, Mike. So
yeah,
it's a hell of a football class.
I want to interrupt you on what the blue chip percentage is. It's how many of your players are 4 and 5 stars. It's not some major, big time formula. It's just how many of your players rank as 4 or 5 star.
Yes.
So it's interesting. I've got all of them pulled up going back to 2013.
Yep.
This is per, the On3 consensus. 81% for this current class. 77 last year. 48 in 2021, which is interesting.
Look at the guys, Fisher, Spindler. I mean, look at these guys up there. But then the bottom is that giant DB class, and a lot of D linemen. We are just no longer on the team. So some of these guys that have moved along, and it's gonna be we've talked 1,000 times about this DB class, but already 2 have left, and who's are some of these guys going to move to safety? What's not with Barnes, Riley, Tucker? So there's still some bodies out there.
Yeah. Just kind of looking through it. Like Devin Alpue never even really made it to Notre Dame, right? No, he did. He did
spring. He left in spring.
JoJo Johnson's gone.
Yeah.
Kanukia has played the first year, and he's doing his Mormon mission.
Schweitzer.
Kari G's gone. Schweitzer's still at Notre Dame, though. He got hurt.
Yeah, he's still there, but he's never played. Diggs is like the lone. Oh, obviously.
Who's this guy?
Oh, man.
Joe
By the way, I know I texted you today. I'm so bummed that he did not get consensus. He was 1 away. I think he made 2 first teams. And bummed. Because you got to make 3 to get consensus. But he's going to be in the monogram room forever. And obviously next year he'll be he'll be on all the awards watch list next year. So good news for Joe Alt.
Moving along, 2020, 59%. That was Drew Pine, Michael Mayer, Jordan Johnson's recruiting class.
But you're in the 50s. You're in the 50s, and it's a telltale when you start compounding those teams.
2019, that's 73%, which I don't really. 2019 class. Let's look at the top. You had Kyle Hamilton, right? He was decent. Zeke,
Yeah.
Quinn Carroll, Jacob Lacey, Isaiah Rutherford, and Andrew Kristofik, John Olmstead. Bunch of meh. Isaiah Foskey turned out all right.
Exactly.
Osita Ekwonu, Nana's been okay. Litchfield transferred. KJ Walls transferred. Howard Cross has been great. Kyron Williams, I guess, was decent.
Yeah, exactly. And then
this 2019 class has 70%, but this does not look like a very good class. Cam Hart was your lowest ranked position player, and
yes,
pretty good.
It's crazy. Well, that's recruiting. That's the best thing when you start to look back 4 years. But at the time, look at all those 4-stars. So it does add up, and they have a handful of starters out of that group, and obviously a couple NFL guys. So, it's always one way to look at it.
2018, 46%. That was, Houston Griffith, Phil Dracovic. That's pretty low.
Yes.
2017, 55%. 2016, 52%.
52%, Mike, but 2016 is stacked with NFL guys.
Yeah.
Stacked with NFL guys. That is
Berg, Chase Claypool, Khalid Kareem, Julian Aguara, Dante Vaughn, Troy Pride.
Yes.
Jalen Elliott, Buck, Julian Love. Goodness gracious, yeah.
Yeah, Julian Love leads the NFL in tackles at the safety position. I hope he makes a Pro Bowl. I know he's going to be up there. Hector, go ahead, Mike.
So this was the 2017 would have been the year signing class after the abysmal year.
Yes.
Okay, 2015 at 65%. 2014, 55. So, and then 2013, that's Notre Dame's last top 5 class, 87%.
Yes.
Which I'll always note, Tim, these guys would have been 13, 14, 15, seniors in 2016. Notre Dame's highest ranked class.
It's the 4 and 18.
It's the 4 and 18. So, don't you just love recruiting rankings and the precious blue chip ratio when you have these guys? But a lot of them were out right before
Yes.
But yeah, Max Redfield, it's highly ranked, but yeah.
Peyton Bowen could be the highest ranked safety since Max Redfield. So do the math on that one, right?
So what any other thoughts as we've just gone through this, Tim?
No, it's just and this is the debate we have 24/7. I feel on the message board there at Blue and Gold is talking about, we got to get more 5-stars. It's bodies. To me, it's just bodies. It's getting as many good bodies as you can. Obviously, they went to they had a bunch of 50s. They had the 40% year with blue chips, and they still got to the Final Four in 2018. So it shows you coaching does matter, developing does matter. That 2016 D line was one of the the heartbeats, the strength. The same thing with Julian Love, Troy Pride at safety on that 2018 Final Four team, and those were a bunch of 3-stars, whatnot. So it just shows you still coaching, development, whatnot. But the more 4s you get, and the better shot you have, because if someone gets hurt, you replace them with another 4-star, another top 200 guy. Someone was chit-chatting with me about Alabama and whatnot. So I went on Alabama's. Don't go on Alabama's and look at their blue chip. Don't. It's 90s, 80s. They have 1 year at 67. He probably fired 6 guys. 1 year at 67 the last 10 years. Everything's 80s and 90s. It is absolutely ridiculous. But that shows you as well the talent that they're loading up. So for Notre Dame fans out there, you got 70s last year. They're 81 right now. So they're right at that cusp. I fully expect 2024 to be outstanding. Now you're just starting to compound bodies on bodies. I mean, I was doing some homework on this. I mean, Notre Dame's gone 4 straight years. They had 4 straight years from 9 to 12 under 60. Yet they still went to the national championship game in 2012. And then the same thing from 14 to 18. They only had 1 class over 60%. So, people freak out about rankings and whatnot. Me personally, I think it is the blue chip is a better gauge of a class than the actual ranking. Like if Notre Dame falls to 6 this year, but they have 81% blue chip. That's a hell of a class. It just means a couple other guys got a few other, players here and there. And then the ranking system, this year's class is higher than the 2013 class. Each player is ranked, 93.25, and 2013 is 92.7. So they're a little higher when it comes the bodies that are coming in this class. So, but at Notre Dame, Mike, it's all about the misses, and that's it is, and that's what people remember. More people remember that than they do sometimes the guys they get, and that's the gut punch when it comes to Notre Dame recruiting.
All right, we'll get there in just a moment, Tim.
I hear you.
We need to hear from our friends over at Brennan's View, who sponsors this Notre Dame football show. Brennan's View condos presented by Irish Realty. Only a few luxury units remain. Tailgate on the rooftop deck, just steps from Eddy Street Commons in the Notre Dame campus. Take advantage of a $2,500 buyer's upgrade package through the end of November. Again, folks, this show is brought to you by Brennan's View Condos, presented by Irish Realty. Head to brennan'sview.com. Tim, you just said the misses part, right?
Yeah.
That might be what you're thinking about, but that doesn't make it the right thought process. Like Alabama, your beloved Alabama that you're just talking about, right? And I know you love Dabo so much in Clemson. They have misses, and guess what? Notre Dame even beats them to recruits. You think Nick Saban's sitting there with his 6 rings, saying, "Oh man, remember that one player we lost?" No. It's about who you get.
True.
Like Notre Dame has offered how many players in the 2023 class? Like 200. Of course they're gonna miss guys. They can only sign 25 to 28 or whatever. So of course you can go up and down the offer list, and there's tons of players they're not going to get. So the misses thing, like, oh, they didn't get Carnell Tate or Dante Moore. Well, for one, you have to shoot for the stars. You have to go recruit all these big time players. And of course you're not going to get some of them, but you need to land big time players. It's about who you land. And Notre Dame's 23 class has got a lot of big time talent in it. A lot of big time talent. And I will argue, okay, let's say Peyton Bowen does flip. Let's say Jade Lamar flips, whatever. Like, what else can Notre Dame have done? If those guys leave the class, what else could Notre Dame have done? Drop them $1 million in McDonald's bag? Like, that's not happening at Notre Dame. Like, if a kid doesn't want to go to Notre Dame, there's not much you can do. So you just look at who they got, and if you want to bring, they should have gotten Dante Moore. Everyone keeps telling me that Dante Moore was a silent commit, right? So he was basically Notre Dame. Like what? Like there's not a whole lot you can do if someone just doesn't want to, go to Notre Dame. If Peyton Bowen flips to Oklahoma, holy hell, what an impressive job it was for Notre Dame to get him committed. And then you see Peyton Bowen get the 5-star status, and everyone's after him, and Oklahoma's just beating down his door. His best friends going to Oklahoma. I believe his significant others going to Oklahoma. Like, seriously, folks, what could have Notre Dame done? So I'm just, Tim, the whole, there's a but for Notre Dame signing likely their first top 5 class in 10 years, but they missed out on these guys. Tell me about who they got.
Oh, of course. But when you have when you have guys committed though, Mike, so when you have guys committed in the top 25, top 50, top 100, that all of a sudden bail, I mean, that's obviously always going to sting. Yeah. I mean, it's going to sting, and it's going to be, yeah. I mean, questions. I mean, why shouldn't questions be asked? I mean, that's the way I look at it. I mean, Freeman always says challenge everything, right? So if you're going to challenge everything according to what Marcus Freeman says, then challenge their recruiting on those guys. They had them. Why did they lose them? Did they lose them because they got swayed by other people? Well, that's recruiting. So that means they got out recruited, correct? See, this is the thing I always hear, like, well, they had them. Well, you lost them. Is that out recruiting? Because we were told when he got hired, he's this elite recruiter. But hold on, Mike, hold on. And then you lose elite players. So did he get a lot of 4-stars? Yes. If they lose Bowen, their blue chip is still going to be, what is it, like 75? 74. It's going to be basically the same as it was last year. And last year's class was number 6, which was the best class still since 13. A hell of a football class. This class is still going to be good. I'm not going to say it's going to be a bad class. If you finish in the top 10 and your blue chips are in the 70s, which is, I think, the key metric when you look at all these teams in the Final Four, it's still a hell of a football class, but you got beat out on some dudes you had for months on end. And that is going to, I mean, that's kicking the pants. I think every Notre Dame fan is rightfully fine to be upset because they want Notre Dame to win. And you just had dudes possibly to help you win and you lost them.
Okay, a couple thoughts. One, what's the alternative? Would you want Notre Dame to strangle a kid? Be like, no, you're not allowed to decommit. I'm not going to let you sign somewhere else. I'm going to break your pinky. Like, what do you want them? What is there to do? Okay, let me throw a little. This is a poor metaphor at you, right? And I'm obviously joking a little bit with my last name, right? Let's say Mike Singer. I know I do a lot of ums and in my speech. I'm not a refined speaker, but let's say I was suave, very well speaker, just had great game, could really speak to women, right? But I'm also overweight and not a good looking guy. It's like, what can I do? I got all the game in the world, but if she don't want me, what the hell can I do? I've done literally everything, right? That's not a perfect example, right? Because I could have,
well, you're playing above your level
a little bit more. Well, but seriously, like Notre Dame has done everything. If it's recruiting, Tim, they're 17, 18-year-olds. Like,
I agree.
I don't think that Notre Dame has been out recruited for Peyton Bowen.
You sure they have? They lose them. They
lost them. No.
They lost
out recruited. No.
Hey, hold on. Hold on. Let me say something. When Rivals started all the recruiting stuff and whatnot, and they started handing out recruiter of the year, the top 25, the West Coast recruiter of the year. Did they hand it out for almost? Did they hand it out for the coach who sent out the most emails, the most text messages, the most, wow, I made more calls. I just didn't recruit them. No, you're the recruiter of the year for the guys you bring in. So the guys you bring in. So if Notre Dame loses, they already lost. They had Keon Keeley recruited for 13 months. Why did they keep him?
Not for lack of effort is what I'm saying.
But what is the effort? So according to you, as long as you give a good effort, you're okay. So it's Notre Dame football. As long as we give effort, we can lose out on all the top 100 guys. Who cares? Hey, we gave effort.
No, Tim, that's not what I'm saying.
You're 10-2, guys. We're giving good
Notre Dame got out recruited if he flips, and I'm telling you that's not the case. Not out recruited. He just simply wants to go elsewhere.
So did Notre Dame out recruit Pitt to get Kenny Minchie? Hell yeah, they did. Because they have a better.
No, I don't think they did. Notre Dame was on him late. He said no to Notre Dame. This is a perfect example of my point, actually, Tim. Perfect. Minchie had an epiphany. Notre Dame just was texting him once a week or so just to kind of stay in it. But they were recruiting all these other quarterbacks because Minchie didn't want to go to Notre Dame. Minchie had an epiphany. I want Notre Dame, and the staff didn't really even do a ton.
Minchie did an interview after he committed where he said he talked to Tommy Rees once a week for the last year plus. Once a week for the last year. So they obviously were communicating somehow, some way. So things were being communicated. It's not like he just woke up, I want to go to Notre Dame. So there was communication.
Little text message with Tommy.
It's a communication of letting them know, hey, I'm here, saying hi, because they still didn't have a quarterback. So, but look at all the guys Notre Dame has flipped. That is recruiting. They beat those guys for those guys. It's like, obviously, Edwards just flipped to Colorado. But that was.
But Tim,
out recruited. But that one I don't think is out recruited because there was a prior relationship with Dion and the family and whatnot. So, but they obviously flipped them. Who the heck wants to go to Colorado, the worst Division I program? And someone posted on their board they lost more games by 3 touchdowns or more this year than any team in NCAA history.
Terrible.
So, and Edwards thinks he's going to go there and win a Heisman. Hey, good luck to you. Go for it. But recruiting is who you get. And Notre Dame, if they lose out on the guy that you did the post-game show. We did the
recruiting is about who you get and then want to talk about who they miss. It's who they get.
It is who you get. So exactly, it is who you get, but it's also the guys you missed, the guys you had in your class, Mike, and you lost. You lost. You lost. If they don't keep Peyton Bowen, who you and I talked about his commitment and whatnot on our Fiesta Bowl show afterward. That's the day he committed. They've had him in there since the Fiesta Bowl. So sure, he's taken what? I mean, my God, I feel bad for you in your industry. It's like the guy's taking 6,000 trips, recruiting trips. So, and that thing, if I'm Freeman and the coaching staff, why in the heck have you not gone after another top 50 safety, knowing this is going to possibly happen? Just like at the Viper, there's no Viper in this darn class. Keon Keeley decommitted ages ago. So where's the recruiting on that to fill that spot? But it's a hell of a class. I'm not saying it's not, but if you lose top 100 dudes you had in your camp for a year, you got out recruited.
Yeah. So what Notre Dame should have done is say, hey, Peyton Bowen, don't commit because we're a little worried that you might decommit and Tim Hyde's going to get mad at us for losing you.
Hey, I'm not mad. I don't get paid by Notre Dame. It's not my, hey, they don't get their job. Their jobs are on the line. They're the ones trying to get that second contract, not me. So if they don't get those guys, that's their career. That's their job. All and right. I mean, that's truth right there, Mike, if they lose these guys. So you can't say, well, they worked hard. Who cares?
No, I'm not asking for a participation trophy. I just say that I don't think they got out recruited. I just don't think they got out recruited.
They lost them. What does losing a player mean? What does that mean? I have to go over that. I might have coached 50 Division I kids over my years. I've seen guys, I've had kids decommit crying where they feel so bad to call a coach. I've had kids who don't give a damn. I've had kids multiple, like decommit 3 times to different schools. One year I coached the National Player of the Year at the junior college I was at. National Player of the Year. You want to talk about recruiting? I handle all the recruiting for that. I mean, my phone just didn't stop. So recruiting, the guys that get these guys are the guys that are relentless and don't stop. So we're told Mike, it's true. We're told Notre Dame's relentless and they don't stop. But if you don't get all these studs that you had in your, let's use the running backs. Let's use Richard Young. He was never committed, took a visit. To me, that's not a miss. That's not a miss. Misses are guys you had. How is Richard Young a miss? He's from Florida. So what's the odds of him coming to Notre Dame? Less than 1%. So how is that really a miss? The fact that you say they swung and they worked hard is great. I'm talking about misses when you have in your camp. That is huge.
Okay.
Some guy says right here, we didn't get out recruited. How did we not get out recruited?
If they would have never committed, then there's no miss, right? That's what you're saying? If Peyton and Keon didn't commit.
It's a miss when you have a kid who's committed, who's taken.
But what if they didn't commit? What if Notre Dame just said no?
Multiple visits to Notre Dame and they lost them. How is that considered? Well, we tried. That's what you're saying. We tried. Oh,
that's not what I'm saying.
They worked hard. They sent a lot of emails. It's like, okay, great. Everybody sends emails. All right, awesome. Well, they send a photo edit. Everybody does that. The UTEP, one of the, I'm sorry, UTEP, but I just threw them out, okay? UTEP or any school in the MAC, they're all doing photo edits, all right? They're all doing all the hype and whatnot. So everybody does this. Everybody does this. I had a kid one year who went to New Mexico State. God love you, New Mexico State. One of the worst Division I programs. They may even be 1AA now. They're so bad. But those guys called as much as the guy from USC. So it's recruiting's a crazy world.
All right.
What's some of the comments? I love some of these things.
Yeah, let's go to his comments. I agree with Tim. Tim coaches SoCal and watch Pete Carroll dominate California. BC says you can be relentless and still lose a guy because he can't leave his girlfriend and family. I agree. Euro says Tim is very wrong on this one. Hey, usually the YouTube chat is upset with me. This is new. Tim, I disagree. We did not get out recruited. Gotta admit, the Mike and Tim show's comical. Hey, whatever.
Hold on. So we have guys. We have participation trophy guys. We have guys that like it.
That's not what we're saying.
I love it.
Tim, you're very smart.
Hold on. We have an 8-4 crowd right now. I love this.
Listen,
I love it.
When Del Alexander was the Notre Dame receivers coach, right? the biggest problem, he's such a nice guy, the recruits loved him, is that he just didn't work. You don't have to be like he wasn't a big grinder. Like he tried, but he just didn't have it in him. You don't have to be a great recruiter. You just have to work your ass off.
I agree with that, Mike.
And
I agree with that.
So you're just saying like Notre Dame. Okay, why did Peyton Bowen decommit? Or excuse me, if he does, this is very speculative, right? If Peyton Bowen, or we let's go to Keon Keeley. Why did Keon Keeley decommit? It's like, is it because of Notre Dame, or is it because of Alabama, or is it a mix of both? It's just I can't get around the fact of someone saying Notre Dame didn't do a good enough job. To me, when I talk to sources, they did literally everything they could, scratched and clawed till the end, and there's just nothing they could have done. That's where I'm at, Tim. I just don't think that there's anything else that Notre Dame could have done for Keeley, or if, God forbid, we're putting so much negative information, like negative vibes out there about, but we keep mentioning Bowen, just because he's kind of the hot topic right now. We're just playing the if game. But that's where I'm at, Tim. It's just hard for me to be like Notre Dame just didn't you got outclassed in recruiting them. I just don't buy that.
And I agree with what you said. I mean, sometimes a kid just doesn't want to go there. Like I said, I've had kids decommit. They're like, Coach, I don't want to go there. I want to go here, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I get all those arguments at the end of the day. So Notre Dame's still stuck in where they're at, not being able to get these monster difference maker football players.
Keep grinding. Just keep grinding. Keep working.
Exactly. So you just keep working. And that's what these guys in the chat and old guys like me that have been around a while have seen since '88. Just keep grinding. So one of these days it's going to happen, right? So that's but this is also one of the things for me just chatting about is Freeman got hired to recruit and do this and bring these guys in. So now if he loses them, are we just back to Notre Dame? I mean, it's going to be a hell of a class, right? So it's going to be a great class. Is it going to be like, is it going to be as good as 2013 or is Notre Dame better off? I love this one. Team Singer. Go ahead and post that.
I laughed at that one too.
Hashtag that one. I'll blow that up for you.
This is new. This is new.
Oh, and it's fine. I love being wrong. That people love. Hey, we worked hard. We didn't get them. So that tells me they love they just want to read the Singer articles. They don't want to watch the guys on Saturday, right? So I'd rather watch the guys on Saturday. So nothing against the articles, Mike. But it just is what it is. So is it better, Mike, to recruit a 2016 class? A bunch of guys, meat potato grinders that are going to become NFL guys. That 2016 class, what was it? 48% blue chips, yet they go to a Final Four. That's the, Eichenberg and those guys on the O-line that obviously take them to the 2020 Final Four. And look at all these NFL guys. So why is Notre Dame banging its head over guys, top 50 guys? It's just hard for them to get. It is hard for Notre Dame to get these guys. And that's honest. Team Chit Chat. I love this guy. Thank you, Joey. I got one fan.
All right. I don't know how much deeper I want to go into this, but
no, but it's a great conversation because everything you are saying, Mike, there's nothing you're saying that's wrong at all because guys do work their tails off. They are working. They've gotten them to commit, correct? They've gotten them at campus multiple times. That is working. That is nothing the staff is doing wrong whatsoever. But at the end of the day, how's Notre Dame going to get over the hump unless they get these guys? And can they get these guys with Marcus Freeman? Freeman was hired to get these guys.
But there's perspective, right? If I call up 1,000 girls, right, and they're all 10s, and one of them responds and says yes, hey, that's better than this other guy calling up 500 girls and they all say no. Like, at least I got one. You just got to shoot your shot with more of these big time guys and get some in. Yeah. Get some in. Some might.
Well, they did. Obviously, when you look at it, they got Love, who's Jeremiah Love's nationally ranked. I mean, Jagarsaw's a freakazoid. Drake Bowen won the Buckus Award, the high school Buckus Award. So obviously they got him. Christian Gray. I mean, I don't know what his final ranking is going to be as a corner, but he's got to be in the single digits, right? Top 10 nationally when it comes to corners. And, he's an elite football player. Great House is a stud. I saw one of the sites dropped him 50 points. I have no idea. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But he's ranked 12th. So, okay, who's the other guys? Probably all going to the SEC. Who's ranked ahead of him? So, but saying that's Christian Gray's a stud. They are getting really good football players, no doubt about it. But it is, Mike, it's a kick in the gut when you have Keon Keeley for 13 months and he says no. It's
Absolutely.
A kick in the gut. If Bowen, who's been committed since the Fiesta Bowl game, leaves last second to Oklahoma, those are kicks in the butts. They just are.
And losses. They're losses.
Those are losses. And to me, that's what I consider. I don't consider, we offered a guy a loss. No, they're going to offer guys. I consider a loss as guys that maybe have visited multiple times. You're in the final 2 or 3, or a committed guy who decommits, who's been decommitted this long. Edwards, I don't consider that a loss just because it sounds like he's got a huge relationship with Sanders. His whole family does. So that makes sense. That's a no-brainer. But Lamar, there's guys who get cold feet. Let's say Jaden Lamar, who I know you've written about and has been talked about with the Pac-12 staying on him. Does he leave? Is that a loss, or is that just? I guess losses to me are great football players. If Lamar leaves, I'm like,
well, no. If Lamar leaves, then Notre Dame got out recruited, right? Because you had him in the class.
Yeah, but man, you still got a lot of running backs. You don't have.
Notre Dame didn't get out recruited there in that case. Oh, okay, I got you.
But is he going to come in and play as a freshman as Keeley and Peyton Bowen would? No.
I feel these goalposts moving around.
They're not moving. They're not moving, but that's recruiting, and I get it. It does happen last second. So, but Jalen Lamar is a guy who's been committed for a long time. I'm sure Notre Dame is doing, but is Notre Dame, are they working as hard to keep him as they are Peyton Bowen? That's another little telltale in the recruiting world. So, yeah, and someone writing, no, it's not so much excuse. It's just Notre Dame, and it's the Freeman era. Everyone got excited. And Mike Goolsby talked about this at the end of his show Monday night, how he was starting to feel a little, is the shine starting to come off? Is the excitement starting to come off a little bit? And it's like, if you end this recruiting season as hot as it started, but it ends in a whimper, and that's what he was hired to do, that's going to be interesting moving forward.
So do I want to go down this? Yeah, screw it.
Go for it.
Well, you need to get all these guys. There's no excuse. What's your solution, smart guy? Like what is the what's it? Freeman's not getting it done. We didn't get Dante Moore, Jason Moore, Carnell Tate, so on and so forth. Keon Keeley. What do you want? Fire Marcus? Like what's work harder?
Oh,
yeah, sure.
You don't fire, but eventually, Mike, this starts to what happens in year 3 and year 4 now. This is the key. This is the key to Marcus Freeman doing something that, as I was chatting with guys on the board, hasn't been done in a long, long time. A first-time head football coach doing something at Notre Dame that hasn't been done since Newt Rockne. That's winning a damn national title. So that means you got to recruit elite dudes. So if they have good football players, it's going to be a top 5, 6 class, whatever the heck it's going to be. Even if they lose Bowen. But now you start losing some of these guys. What does that look like in year 3, year 4? To me, I'm a year 3 guy. I think 2024, the playoffs are extended. That is the true season for Marcus Freeman, I believe.
Yeah. All right, we got some super chats to get to. Tim, I'll bring you off the screen so you can grab a glass of water. But folks did want to, let's get to some super chats. Excuse me. But first, let's hear from our sponsors, Rogue Shop, a husband and wife outfit. As Mr. Rogue and his wife Shar are craft cannabis farmers who specialize in small batch sustainable plant medicine, a true holistic type of small business. They grow and farm everything themselves by hand. Website to visit, as you guys can see on the screen, is rogueshop.com. There's product that will give you euphoria. And Tim and I probably need some of it right now after this debate. But seriously, folks, there's so much more products that have been known to help from really anything from stress to chronic pain and insomnia. And if you have any questions with the product, you can jump on a live chat with the owners, and they will steer you in the right directions. When I got my care package, they left me a handwritten note on just kind of, hey, this is how much you should take of this. Or your first time. Absolutely great. Our Char and Mr. Rogue. So also have topicals that are great for pain in specific areas. And again, folks, their goal is holistic healing. Check them out, rogueshop.com, and you can use promo code blue and gold to get 10% off your order. Go to rogueshop.com, use that promo code blue and gold. And yeah, tell them that Mike Singer sent you. All right, Tim, let's get to some super chats.
Yeah, I'm reading the messages here. There's some good stuff in here.
Brian says, my mom gets upset that Singer doesn't live in South Bend. This is a new comment. I've never seen anyone tell me that their mom is upset at me. Tried to explain that you live by a lot of recruits. I don't write about Marcus Freeman's press conferences. I don't go to Notre Dame's home games. I don't go to the road games. I go and I do YouTube and I cover recruiting. When I need to go to South Bend to cover, Notre Dame has a junior day, or I've done that in the past, like to have recruits come by and meet with me. Like I've done that multiple times. I'd rather be in Atlanta where I'm at, where I can fly direct anywhere in the country at a reasonable rate, rather than, being in South Bend. Gotta drive to Chicago or fly to South Bend. Like it's not easy. And not very this doesn't make a lot of sense. And yeah, I'm in driving distance with so many Notre Dame recruits. So that's kind of why I'm down here. When I got the job, I was presented, hey, you can live, Atlanta or Charlotte, DC, Chicago, South Bend, LA, and chose Atlanta because this is actually where I was born. So do you have something to say, Tim?
No, I love getting a text from you. Hey, I'm going to go watch so-and-so 3 hours away. I'm going to hit the road. You do that all the time. That's because Notre Dame recruits that heck out of those Carolina areas, and you're right down the road. I think it's awesome. And they love Georgia. Georgia's been a gold mine for Notre Dame over the years.
Not so much this year. Yeah, it's kind of
not this year, but the last 10 years or whatnot since Stephon Tuitt went. But no, you're in the best spot in the country for recruiting and finding players out there.
I agree.
Someone said, ACC sweep continues. They're in Clemson, South Carolina, so that's going to be the biggie.
Yeah, I'm trying to find our future schedules at Blue and Gold that I know Patrick Angle puts together. Here it is.
Yeah.
So 2023, Navy, Tennessee State, Central Michigan, Ohio State, USC. Quite the interesting first 5 games there. Wake Forest should be a win. Well, Marshall should have been a win, but here we are. At Clemson, Stanford, Pittsburgh, Duke, Louisville, NC State. Wake, Clemson, NC State surely will be tough. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that ACC streak continuing, Tim. What do you think?
Oh, the biggie is the Clemson game. So, at Clemson is going to be the biggie. So the rest of them, Notre Dame. It's year 2 of Freeman's era, so we're holy moly. Hopefully, it's not like this one, a roller coaster at times. So Miami's going to be an interesting game. God, I wish they would play them or Florida State every year. I want Notre Dame to be in Florida. We could that could be another show another time. Florida recruiting, how Notre Dame needs a presence in that state. So, but God, I would love to see them play Miami, Florida State every year religiously, like they do SC, and just rotate. But
yep, Notre Dame plays. Then the next time in Florida at Miami in 2025. So, it'll be a little while. Appreciate the $9.99. Brian says, is there any possibility the O-line looks like this next year from left to right? Alt, Fisher at left guard, Zeke Correll, Schrouth right guard, Tosh Baker right tackle.
Yeah. If it is, then it'll be shocked to me. Why would you move 2 NFL offensive tackles, move one to guard? There's no way. Blake, see, I just chatted with someone about this today. I compared Fisher's because Joe Alt made a bunch of made every All-American team, first or second team. So he made every single one. Awesome to him. I compared Fisher's season to Alt. Alt started the last half. Alt was dominant. Fisher struggled early in the year. Correct. The last half of the year, Fisher played outstanding. So he got into that alt. His last half was alt's first half, so to speak. So he's catching up to him. And next year, you got these guys even playing field there with experience and whatnot. Who's got a better book in tackles next year? Nobody. Ohio State had it this year, and those two guys are going pro. So Joe Alt, Blake Fisher are going to be college football All-Americans next year and first-round NFL draft choices, bar none.
All right, get a few more super chats. Appreciate you, Brian. Great C says, as a resident of Greenville, South Carolina, can't wait till Notre Dame crushes the Gamecocks. I was actually in Greenville a couple weekends ago. That's where I did my our Drew Pine live show. I was in Greenville with my family. Yeah, for sure.
I'm excited for this game. I know we'll chat about it, start getting more into this after the recruiting thing, but this is going to be a good football game. I know they have a handful of opt-outs recently, but they still got their quarterback. And that place is going to be packed. South Carolina is right down the street, so those dudes are going to get on the freeway and head on straight down to Jacksonville. So I think it's going to be a hell of a football game.
Yep. Joey says, hi, Mike and Tim. Hey, Joey. Hope you're doing
Cheers.
well. Always glad to see you in all of our YouTube. ND Nation said, dropped a couple chats regarding NIL. Since Notre Dame is paying for players, how can we compete? Out-recruited equals bigger NIL deal elsewhere. Thoughts? Or agree?
Well, let's just go back to the conversation we had for 30 minutes about Notre Dame still – I mean, they're a top 5 recruiting class in this day and age, correct? So does that mean none of these kids care about their future financially whatsoever? Jagasaw doesn't give a darn. Christian Gray's like, I don't care. So they're going to have a top 5 class. They had a top – they were 5 or 6 last year, and NIL was around. So Notre Dame's obviously able to get 25 darn good football players in this country that aren't just worried about money up front. And that's obviously the pitch Freeman and his crew are doing. Like, come here. There's plenty of dudes making money at Notre Dame, plenty of guys with deals and whatnot. The deal is once you get to campus, start working, use the Notre Dame brand, the Notre Dame degree. Are you going to make more money, Mike, with the Notre Dame degree? That's a great question for Goolsby. Or are you going to make more money getting that $250,000 NIL deal? How fast is that money going to burn out? Especially if you don't even stay at that school with all the porthole stuff. So I'm sure Notre Dame's selling it like, come here, your NIL is down the road. The NFL, getting coached, Notre Dame, all those things. I mean, me and Goolsby talk a ton about the buddies he played with. He's got dudes that are like high up in national companies. He played one of the running backs, Mike McNair, is the CEO of his own company. So it just depends what you want. If you want to, take the cash right now, go for it. And that's the other thing, just 5 seconds on this. When you hear NIL, not every single of these players are getting $1 million. Those $1 million are going to quarterbacks. The left guard going to A&M on an NIL deal is not getting that much money, people. It's going to a specific group of players. So there's more than enough money at Notre Dame to be had. That's just me. I'm not an insider. I don't know. I'm just assuming. And it's bar none. Look at the class they're signing.
Yeah, ND Nation, appreciate the super chats. And he says, Tim, we're lost top recruits.
Exactly. So they have lost those, and that's fine. So if so-and-so goes to so-and-so's school, he gets his $500,000, but he gets hurt in year 2. Is he okay with it? Is that money going to last him forever with that state school degree, or is it better to go to Notre Dame? And these are things I'm sure Notre Dame is talking to kids about. That's why they have the class they have. So it's not like Notre Dame's going to fall number 28 in recruiting class. This is not going to be 2004 Tyrone Willingham's group. That was atrocious.
It's almost like, Tim, you're saying that there's nothing these Notre Dame coaches can do about NIL. So it's just out of their control, and maybe they're not being out recruited in this.
Of course it's a salesman job, Mike. You know that. You recruit. So once again, but I'll be on Team Singer right here. If so-and-so is just like, man, I can't turn down the $750,000 deal that they're going to give me over the next 4 years. I can't turn it down. Then there you go.
No, they got out recruited. You got to be able to tell him.
Sell it more.
At some point, I can say to that car salesman, no, I am not buying your 2005 Buick. Sorry, there's nothing you can do. You've done all you can, but you've done a great job. But there's that shiny Tesla that I really want. I'm not trying to compare Notre Dame, saying Notre Dame.
Yeah, I was going to say Notre Dame is far from the old Buick, Grandma and Grandpa had down the road. So far from that. And it's recruiting, and this is to me the ultimate conversation that just will not die. It is a fun topic, an awesome topic. NIL, losing players, it's tough, it stinks, no doubt about it. Notre Dame, Freeman, and his recruiting class they're working their asses off because they have a top 5 class, so it is showing. Backpedaling.
All right.
Backpedaling. I love it.
Moving along. Tyler Hack says, Mike, have you ever considered converting the your facial hair into a handlebar mustache? Might be a good look for you. So handlebar is where you cut it like this and then you twirl it up, right? So we're talking about. I've left it like this before. I've shaved everything and just left like a real long mustache, all the way to my jaw, and just walked out. My wife said, "Go back, go get your ass back in the bathroom, and you finish shaving." So I've considered doing it as a joke, and leaving it for a day and seeing if my wife can deal with it, and it didn't work.
Let me flip this to 1 second. Someone had a comment in here where there's a ton of comments about money, all about money. How is it all about money if Notre Dame they do have top 100 guys? All right, they do have more 4-stars in this class than the 2013 class, right? So they have a boatload of 4-stars. So how and this is what kills me with Notre Dame fans is it's always NIL. Well, was it all NIL when they got Minchie, and who are the other guys? They have a handful of guys they flip. So did Notre Dame give a bag to get the quarterback away from Pitt? Is that what they did? Yeah, but Notre Dame fans never want to. We didn't say that. Notre Dame has flipped tons of guys in this class, and they may flip another 1 or 2 in this class. So how is Notre Dame fans always just say, well, it's about the money? It is for a handful, but not the 25, 26 they have right now. Is it all about the money? CJ Carr, you know this darn well, Mike. CJ Carr being a top 5 quarterback, nationally ranked, all that, he could go anywhere in America and they're going to give him $1 million+ Easy. That's what quarterbacks are going for. He could go anywhere in the country and get that signing bonus, show up day 1 at Michigan State, let's say, and they'll do that. He's not. So it can't be all about the money every single time it comes down to Notre Dame recruiting.
All right. Part of this is, I think a lot of people are starting to realize that a lot of this NIL crap, it's bull.
Yes.
It's a lot of promises and that are not kept. So you're saying sort of definitively that CJ Carr could go get $1 million, whatever. Yeah, we don't know that. It's very, very sketchy. I think a lot are just if these. Look, if there's a legitimate $750,000 to $1 million offer for me to go here, that's cash money. That's hard to say no to. But I know there's a lot of parents who, are telling their kids that, one, that's not guaranteed money, and 2, you can get a lot more of that in the long run for Notre Dame with the Notre Dame degree.
And that's what someone just commented about, that where people need the money now. I get it. Believe me, I get it. But that's obviously the pitch Freeman and his staff are talking about. Okay, you're 18 years old. You're going to live till you're 88. You still have a long life ahead of you. So a couple of $100,000, that goes fast in this world. So it is, it has to be that long-term mindset. And that's what obviously they're pushing, as you write in your recruiting articles all the time with these guys.
Yep. Andrew says, I agree with you, Tim. When your strategy is to recruit 5-stars and top 4-stars, you have to shun other quality recruits. If they flip, it hurts that much more.
Shun other quality
recruits. Well, if you're Notre Dame and Peyton Bowen has been showing these signs for several months, or Keon Keeley or whatever, you should have backups lined up.
That was our Dante Moore discussion on multiple shows. When he decided not to come to the spring game, it's whoa, okay, it's
Tim,
time backup plan.
Brandon Davis Swain. He committed in the
Yes.
blue gold game. Notre
Yes.
Dame has continued to recruit plenty of other defense linemen. I know
Yes.
defense linemen's different than quarterbacks. You're taking one quarterback a class, but still, like Notre Dame very much was preparing for this kind of scenario that I felt was pretty much guaranteed to happen. All right, I did definitely put in the headline of this show that we were going to talk transfer portal. So I think we have to do that, even though you're getting close to an hour. So Notre Dame has one transfer portal commitment thus far. Drum roll, Spencer Schrader. I hope so. I hope that's his name.
The kicker from South Florida.
The kicker from South Florida, great young man. Did an interview with Blue and Gold today. Very excited about that. Spencer Schrader, from my alma mater, USF. But otherwise, not a ton going on. Tim, any thoughts on how Notre Dame's transfer portal recruitment has gone so far?
Just slow. It's been slow, right? It's been a slow process. So I'm assuming behind the scenes, right? Those guys are gathering who they want. They see the names. They see the names. They know who's who. Probably, jump on YouTube, grab some game film, in their big database, watch some film, check out who's who. And then it all comes down to, okay, where are they from? Is there a tie? Is there a family tie with some of these people? Or is there someone to know? Another coach? Did you recruit this kid when you were at Cincinnati? Vice versa, and start moving along that thing. And then obviously Freeman's talked about it. Is he a fit for us? Is he a guy that's going to come in and be a player for us? Do we need that position? So the portal is interesting because every time someone hits the portal, oh my God, Notre Dame could use this guy. Oh, come on. There's 1,000 of them. Notre Dame's not going to recruit 1,000 of these guys. So it's been a slow process, a very quiet process, I guess, behind the scene, that out front, correct? Behind the scenes, they're working their tails off. And the key is the quarterback and to go out and find one or two wide receivers, some older classmen wide receivers. So, and then, we could do a whole show down the road on the undergrads, right? The undergrads, how that whole process is going to work.
Yeah, let's just touch on that quickly, Tim, because that was the argument that me and you had, that whether they're being aggressive with undergrads. Let me just give my take first, because I think we might agree on this more than we think.
Go for it.
Brian Kelly's Notre Dame, they really didn't even look at undergrads, right? That was even something that they entertained, right? I mean, is it just Alohi Gilman was the only one, right?
Yeah, but it really has never been a thing until now. That's the other thing you got to realize is undergrads have never been. There hasn't been a portal until recently, so it was never an issue in the past with Notre Dame recruit undergrads, because most undergrads are just instantly. If I've got to get transferred from a D1 to D1, and they already knew where they were going. So I think this is more to do with the portal, right? I know people say, well, Brian Kelly didn't do this. This wasn't around for Kelly's years.
Sorry, I was reading chats, Tim. I didn't even listen to you. I'm just going to be honest.
I've been reading some of these too. I love the chat stuff. They're awesome. They're awesome.
But they are. You saw Brandon Joseph. They are recruiting. They are working for undergrads. So they're a hell of a lot more aggressive than the past several years of Brian Kelly. For sure. The recruiting. I believe they're recruiting Hudson Card from Texas. They were going after Keegan Johnson, and then there's certainly others. It's just Notre Dame's transfer recruiting has been kept under wraps. So they might be after 10 for all we know, underclassmen guys, which is just a lot different than what we've seen under Brian Kelly. That's all.
No, I agree. Card's going to be a graduate though. So
is he?
I swear I've read that somewhere where he's going to be graduate. He's graduating in a couple of weeks. So he'll have his degree.
All right. Well, maybe not him then.
Yeah. Obviously the Johnson guy was an undergrad, the wide receiver. So he didn't even, he looked at Notre Dame for 15 seconds and boom, he was done. So, I'm sure this is going to be the big issue with Notre Dame is there a sophomore? Let's use the wide receiver from Iowa. Is there that sophomore where they had a prior relationship? They recruited him before, right? At least he was on their watch list, so to speak. So they knew of him. This is the key, I think, to Notre Dame is those guys that hit the portal, some form of past relationship. They got to be aggressive with those guys and see. But once again, is it a fit? And this is where just real quick, where people lose track of, well, Notre Dame's not getting undergrads. Notre Dame has 93 guys on scholarship right now. If today was day one of training camp, Notre Dame has 93 kids returning next year. You can only have 85. So that means 8 of this current team that we're talking about right now is gone. So that's 8. That means you have 85, Mike. How the heck are you going to get any undergrads? If you already have 8, now you have 85. That means this roster needs to be depleted by another 12, 13, 14 players to even think about getting any undergrads. So people are gonna when they start seeing these kids transfer, which is going to happen, it's going to blow their mind. But maybe they're transferring because Notre Dame, to your point, already has a guy lined up ready to roll. But I have a roster running. I already crossed off Edwards, crossed off the tight end that just left, Barong. So I just added the South Florida guy. They have 93 guys. And the only question marks I truly have are Adam Iola. Is he a 6-year guy? And I still have Brandon Joseph on the roster because he has it. He's a 50-50 guy. I mean,
well, then there's the commits. There's commits in there too.
Yeah. And I have all the commits. You know, the last one was Caleb Smith, the wide receiver. So I have 93. I could be off 1 or 2, but I'm right around there. O-line, you got Christopher's going to come back. Zeke's going to come back. And then is Carmody, is Baker coming back? But assuming they are, you have 93 guys. So how is Notre Dame going to be so aggressive and active unless you're looking at 14, 15 guys may have to leave, which is pretty wild.
Yeah. And as far as specific players, yeah, folks, it's been frustrating a little bit as a reporter, because it's being kept very, very quiet. But quarterbacks, I think it's the big names that are out there. That's who Notre Dame's going after. Your Hudson Cards, Leary. I've heard mixed reports on Notre Dame's pursuit of him. Again, guys, it's been funky, and it's been covering the transfer portal recruiting is kind of new for me. It's different than high school recruiting by a wide margin. But yeah, quarterback, receiver, maybe tight end even. It's possible. And then, defensive line, whether it's a Viper, interior guy, both. And I'm still intrigued to see if they would get a safety. If Brandon Joseph were to leave and they don't get Peyton, that might be a later in the year thing, but still.
Yeah. And if that scenario happens, Mike, that's priority number 2 behind quarterback. If Brandon Joseph leaves and they don't get 5-star Peyton Bowen, oh yeah, you better get a safety because you only got really 2 on the roster, and Watts and Henderson. So that's going to be wild.
All right, folks, got a couple comments and then we're getting out of here. Nikki said, Singer said there might be something really big. And I was talking about our show next week, like who we might have on as a guest. That was it. And then super chat. You got to change your username, dude. It's funny, but how does Freeman recruit against kids' parents who are tweeting out $1 million starting bid? I don't know if I've seen that, but I'm sure you're kind of just trying to make a point. It seems Notre Dame will get great players, but not many 5 stars.
Then fine. Then coach the heck out of them, get to the Final Four. It's been proven it can be done, correct? And you got to play your butt off, when you get there. And you better have a quarterback that's not, gun shy and run around, a little nervous Nelly and stuff like that. So it still comes in that. Notre Dame has proven that. They have proven they could take 3 stars, 4 stars. They don't need the elite top 50 guys. They have proven that they can win games, get to the Final Four, be in the race in November. They've done that time and time again. So there's no doubt about that. And that's the other thing. These guys, I've chatted about this on the message board a ton with people. People are always infatuated with Florida recruiting, Deep South recruiting. It's a different animal, Mike, down there. That's SEC country. You're trying to go into, and this could be Keon Keeley, correct? You're going into Florida, the heartbed of the SEC, trying to steal a guy out of there. That is hard. It is extremely hard to do. So does Notre Dame stick to where it can have more success? Those are great discussions.
Well, and then the super chatter follows up with, but they get spanked in the playoffs. Well, what do you want? If Notre Dame's going to say, we're not doing this, we're not doing NIL, we're not buying players, like, what do you want to happen? Like, this is just, it is what it is.
Look who they lost to, 2018.
Go find another
A
fan.
full-blown
Like, go
quarterback.
root for another team. It's like I can't root for a team that doesn't do NIL because we're not going to win a national championship. Like, if that's how you feel, go find another team. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It just is what it is. Like, this is Notre Dame. Sorry, you signed up for Notre Dame being a Notre Dame fan. Like, if they're not playing NIL, and if you need to buy players to win a national championship, I guess Notre Dame's not winning a national championship in that world because if they're just not doing it. We'll see moving forward, but that's just life right now. So you can yell at clouds and be like, I don't like how that cloud looks, but it just is. It is what it is. There's nothing like if Marcus Freeman really wants to get in this NIL world with players, but Notre Dame says, whatever that looks like, it's just a no. They're not going to illegally do that. So, I mean, all these schools are doing it. And they're just putting it through NIL. It's the worst thing. But if Notre Dame saying, no, we're not playing that, then what do you do? What do you do?
But at the end of the day, it's going back to our original talk about recruits and misses and all that stuff. Well, then they're still going to get 25 guys. They're still going to be 75% blue chip. They're still going to be in the hunt for Final Four bids because of the bodies they are compounding players. I mean, just because you didn't get a guy this year, well, maybe they like a couple of the guys they had last year, right? Maybe they like a guy in 2024. It's nonstop recruiting. And as long as you're getting tons, if you're getting 20 plus 4-stars, which Freeman and company are doing this year, it's still a hell of a class. So and Notre Dame knows this up front. If so-and-so, the Tennessee quarterback, the giant deal everyone saying he got, obviously Dante Moore, supposedly I read he's going to visit another school this week. So obviously he's out there shopping around because he knows the going rate. Notre Dame probably caught a break because they didn't have to deal with that crap. And that's fine. Notre Dame's not going to deal with it. They'd rather get Christian Gray, Charles Jagasaw, Jeremiah Love, all these types of guys that believe come to Notre Dame. I'm still an elite top 100 football player, play high level football, get a great degree, and I'm going to get my butt paid down the road. Yeah. Notre Dame will find 25 guys each and every year that do that.
Yeah. I think this player right here, Charles Jagasaw, is exactly like this is the blueprint for Notre Dame. Like,
yes,
this player, Notre Dame has to get. You have to get these high academic, Midwest, like these elite talents Notre Dame has to get.
And they're out there. They are out there.
Notre Dame, you have to go get it. Like so this was kind of leads into Michael's comment. So basically Notre Dame is screwed with the current landscape of NFL minor league football. Screwed is not a great term, but I have said that NIL is the worst thing that happened to Notre Dame. If not for NIL, in my honest opinion, I think Notre Dame gets Dante Moore. I think they get Carnell Tate. I think they keep Ken Keeley. And that's just my opinion. Like, yeah. I think NIL is terrible for Notre Dame because it's just – it was already hard enough for Notre Dame to get some of these guys with the academics, and now it's NIL. And now two things – like academics obviously works for Notre Dame a majority of the times, but sometimes it's a negative. They can't even recruit some players for it. So, yeah, not great. But Joey says, preach Singer. BC says Singer's become an Irish fan.
I love it. But right here, Larry, the Yankees haven't won a World Series since I'm a Red Sox fan. So exactly. Money. I mean, look at the money they're dishing out all the time. It does it. Look at A&M. Who gave out more money than A&M in Miami this year? Where are they playing? Where are they playing in the next couple of weeks? So Notre Dame, I don't know. This is just me. I could be wrong. Notre Dame's always going to find 25 damn good football players out there that believe in what Notre Dame is. Really good football players. And I know Notre Dame got boat race, as someone said earlier in the playoffs. Dude, they played the two best teams in the last 20 years, possibly.
Played in the playoffs.
I mean, they played two quarterbacks drafted in the first round, for crying out loud. Lawrence is probably going to go to the Pro Bowl this year. He's putting the Jaguars on his back. And Jones is with the Pats, who won the title with Alabama. I mean, look what they lost to. So in Notre Dame, I don't know, man. We could go in circles around this so much. I think the NIL people are losing their minds on it so much. Notre Dame doesn't recruit those dudes that go to A&M. So who cares? A&M, go spend all your money all you want. They don't recruit those guys. Who did they recruit in that class? Anthony Lucas out of Arizona, correct? He did go to A&M because of cash. I mean, how many guys go from Scottsdale, Arizona at College Station? None. So it's like, so obviously, but you know what I mean, Mike. They're not actively going out recruiting 99% of these guys that are out there searching for money. They're just not, because that goes back to the staff and how they were pre-screening and recruiting these guys from the get-go and finding these guys. And they are. I mean, you put up an article the other day about the possible 5-man defensive line class that they're getting already. So, you know, they've already in 2024, they've already pinpointed these guys, going after these guys, recruiting the heck out of them. So there you go. You know, as much as we argue about misses and whatnot, Mike, dude, this staff has busted its ass this year, and I think they get kudos for that.
Great show today, Tim.
That was fun.
We'll do it again next week, maybe with a special guest. Hopefully, I've been hyping it up now. We'll hope. Working on it, folks. Appreciate you joining for this week's show. Do hit that thumbs up before you get out of here. Of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. Go to blueandgold.com for $10 while unlocking premium access until the start of next football season. Fantastic deal there. Head to the site. And if you like this show, you like this podcast, you can go get this in written form so you can, sit on the toilet and chat with us, on the message board and slack off at work and, post on our loose emoji board. And I think that'd be great. All right, folks. Appreciate it. We're out of here. Mike Singer, Tim Hyde. We'll catch you guys next time.